The important thing to remember is that I had a good time.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about the very first Vidcon Baltimore and my experience as a featured creator at Vidcon Baltimore. You heard that right. They let me be a featured creator. Why? I have a few different theories, and everyone was like, you're being really mean to yourself with like how you're like thinking this all came about. And I was like, well, let's be realistic, considering I wasn't just not accepted as a featured creator. I wasn't even allowed to have a full access badge. Like I was also denied for that. And then now for Baltimore, I'm given featured creator. So I fully think that I scared them after my last video when I met with one of their employees and they were like, okay, yeah, we need to like bring her with us. Or they asked all the other big commentary people to come and none of them said yes. And they were like, oh, well, we need at least one, right? She'll come. She comes to everything. To be honest with you, yes, I was going to buy a ticket to Baltimore VidCon, whether you guys invited me or not. I'm seeing some signs. I think it might be a one and done, so I got to go. And then sure enough, they offered me featured creator. And I went as a featured creator. Here is my badge, featured creator, Amanda Golka, Swell Entertainment. After I'd gotten back from Open Sauce in San Francisco is when I met up with an employee from VidCon. They reached out to me after my video had gone out about Anaheim VidCon. We got coffee. We had what I felt was a very productive conversation, and I shared a bunch of things with them and how I thought they could get creators excited about VidCon again. At that meeting, there was no indication that I was even going to be offered a full access badge, an invited guest badge, or a featured creator badge. I had been told by this employee that they had in fact lobbied for me to be a featured creator and had been told, no, they don't have enough subscribers. They as in me, and that I'd actively been turned down. But really quick, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Aura. That's right, Aura is back to make sure that you are not getting taken advantage of and that your information is not being sold by data brokers on the internet. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your personal data, from your full name to your buying history to your birthday, even sometimes your address and personal phone number. The thing is that these data brokers have to take your information off of their sites if you submit requests, but they make it incredibly difficult to do so, and that's how Aura helps. Aura will submit automatic opt-out requests on your behalf so that people will stop profiting off of your personal data. Aura also does a whole lot more to help protect you and your family online. You don't need to have several different apps because they have things like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, which I'm currently using because I'm traveling, password management, identity theft insurance, and so much more. You get everything at one affordable price. Don't let people exploit and profit off of your data online. Go to aura.com/swell to get a 2-week free trial today. And thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. About a week or so later, about a week, few days, a week-ish, is when I was told that I got an email, and then I checked the email and it said I'd been offered to be a featured creator. And now again, I do think that maybe they went back to their team and said what I talked about and were worried. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I went to that meeting and I was like, why is it in Baltimore? Like, that's something we were trying to figure out at Anaheim. I'm like, what's in Baltimore? And I'm not trying to crap on Baltimore. I'm just saying I didn't really understand why out of everywhere on the East Coast, because they wanted an East Coast event, they chose Baltimore when there's a zillion and one other options. They'd given me a few reasons as to why they told Baltimore, and aside from one, I really don't think that they were very good reasons, and so I assumed there was some form of a tax break or like a financial offer for them to come to Baltimore, the way that is my understanding of how they were able to do the event in Abu Dhabi back in 2021, I believe. Figured this would be my one chance to be a featured creator, and I was going to go to the event anyway, and I was like, you know what? Might as well see how this will go. And you know, I do have fun when I go to VidCon, but I have fun as someone who is paying for a ticket. This last year, my management paid for it, and then someone who gets into the Hyatt because of the contacts I already have in the industry. That's typically how I end up having a good time and networking and all of that. I've never had to have that obligation of doing panels and meet and greets and things like that. So I was like, okay, this will be a new experience and that should be fun. Really went in just open-minded, ready to have a good time, and that's how I always go into these things. I'm going to have a good time regardless what it was. My friend Hassan Kader, who is another content creator, was going to be partnered with me for our meet and greet, as well as another creator to creator panel.
We have a panel in less than an hour.
Fast approaching.
Fast approaching.
They told us we couldn't get food in the front of the house. Goddamn good.
Don't snitch on us.
So because I was a feature creator, they paid for my flight and my hotel. We stayed at the Hyatt that was right next to the convention center. When I say right next to the convention center, I mean the walk was about a minute and they had us take a little shuttle to get across. Still, safety reasons, which I understand. We're going to talk a lot about safety because I think that's where most of my frustration comes in from this, because there's some things where it's like, okay, you're pushing this element, but then you're also telling me that that's not a problem anymore. But then we're like ignoring, so okay, I'm getting all over them. So let's do a little room tour for my room paid for by Vidcon for Vidcon Baltimore. Nice little lounge. Everything's in a weird shape here. Like this is funky. So is their elevators. The elevators are weird as hell. Here's my view, which I also have not seen. Oh, it's of the skylight of the bistro. The next day I was like, okay, cool. I'm like getting ready, going over, and I had nothing scheduled for Friday, and Hassan was like, oh, I don't have anything scheduled till 5. So we go over to the convention center, and this was the industry day. What bothered me going into VidCon, which has been since explained to me, which I still don't like because I don't like the implication based on like some of my findings from the last anime. I keep wanting to say anime instead of Anaheim. I'm from the area. I should know better. Anaheim VidCon this year, my point boiled down to the fact that I felt they were having an identity crisis and they didn't really know who they were for exactly. Who is their target demographic from the creator's perspective and the attendees' perspective? Because at this point, as it was for Anaheim, it felt like mid-sized creators and big creators who just didn't have contracts in different companies or weren't family friendly enough or weren't mainstream enough, but were like massive creators in other regards were being sidelined entirely by the event. Okay, so like unless you had access to the Hyatt, the event was kind of useless for you, and it was not fun and it was not safe because these massive creators who may not be featured creators, it's still not safe for them to go and walk the convention center floor. So they go to the creator floor because there's a creator track, and the creator track there was literally nothing to do. There was nothing for them, and so most people left and then just went and hung out at their Airbnbs. And so I was like, okay, cool. Are you guys trying to get rid of, like, who do you want to appeal to? What do you want? And I get, you can't appeal everyone. You can't have every single person be a featured creator, but you had very few featured creators for this event. And I think people told you no. I think people didn't respond. I think you got who you could get. But I think people started telling you guys no. That's what I think. That's what I believe. That's my personal opinion. I was very worried when I looked up VidCon Baltimore and saw there was only community track and industry track, and both of which were pretty much the same price as they are for Anaheim as far as I can tell. Industry was just under $900. Yeah, so 2 days of community track was $139, and then for one day it would be $75 for either day, and the 30th sold out, October 1st did not. But I was worried that they were like, okay, yeah, cool, you're right, and we are decentralizing mid-sized creators. We don't want them here. We're not trying to appeal to them, because most mid-sized creators, like the industry track, also is not relevant to them. The industry track, frankly, this entire thing, I think there was too much AI, frankly, but there was also too much NFTs last year. There was too much AI at this industry track for Anaheim this year. And there's a different trend every single year. And I just need to get used to just telling these people to leave me the fuck alone. Oh my God.
So it appears I am the only one awake. The employee told me that there's nothing happening right now. Everything's still getting set up, so I'm up here, and this is the only thing that's happening. So I'm gonna walk around and explore, and I am literally the only person.
So Friday, like I said, I had no panels, nothing. And I was walking around, and me and Hassan ended up going to get lobster rolls at one point because we were like, okay, I guess like there's like nothing here that's really interesting to us. And there were a few different creator valuable talks that I would say, but like it was few and far between. And so when you fold the creator tier essentially into the industry tier, I think a lot gets lost, because I would rather that you get rid of the industry tier and fold it into creator. I think that makes so much more sense to me. So the reason I was told that there was no creator tier is that when they go into a new market, it's easier to explain 2 ticket types instead of 3 ticket types. That being said, why did you choose industry? That was not being able to explain to me. I'm assuming it was, well, we've got the business side of things and we've got the fan side of things. But again, we're muddying the waters of where the creatives fall into that aren't the featured creators, the invited guests, the full access people. And that's where I have a lot of issues with. So I think that choosing industry over creator track, I think that was a mistake. So Friday night, like I said, there was no real plans. A bunch of us just went to that pizza thing, and it was something that was very much word of mouth. Like someone sent me the screenshot where it was like, hey, yeah, Underground Pizza Company, come on down.
Pizza. We had pizza.
And a few people still went out again and again, but it was very much like we were all facilitating our own fun stuff. Someone's going to be like, okay, well, yeah, but like when you go to Anaheim, like that's not VidCon planning those parties. That's like the sponsors planning those parties and all that. I agree. Here are the sponsors list. Did you think PBS was going to throw us a party? I'm just saying, not that we're entitled to parties, but again, when you have creators in a new city, you want them to kind of feel like, I don't know, to some degree, taken care of. We shouldn't all be like trying to figure out what we can do for dinner each night. I'm not averse to paying for my own food, but like there was nothing like planned. There was nothing scheduled. There was nothing really. The only party that was scheduled outside of for VidCon that we were told about was the featured creator party that was from YouTube that ended up also being a creator collective event that I didn't know until we got there. And even then, when I checked in to get my badge, they told me, yeah, the YouTube party is Saturday night. They haven't sent anything out. They're not sending anything out. So we're just reminding people. It's in the packet. I was in my packet, which was nice, but also a lot of creators were telling me it's like, oh yeah, no, I don't read the packet. And that's frankly on them because I'm crazy. For Hassan, he had to do a rehearsal for one of the main stage shows at some point Friday night, which we ended up going to, which was also a whole thing because I was like, oh, I'll come with you and I'll like get some footage for you and get some photos and I'll just, you know, kick it around, see how the setup was going because the expo hall was not open on Friday for us. It was still, they were still setting up. So we were like wandering around, exploring a little bit, but I was trying to reorient myself with the expo hall so I knew where to go for my panels and things like that. Hassan's rehearsal time was like 5:10. He didn't start until about 6:30. His whole group that he was doing this thing with. And Hassan and I were like, why did they fly us out so early? You know, like they brought us out on Thursday. I believe they asked me if I wanted to come out on Thursday or Friday. And I think I said Thursday. Thursday is typically like a registration type of day if I'm remembering correctly. But I was like, okay, like I'll go out Thursday and then Friday will be stuff. And like there was sure the industry track stuff, but like, I don't know. There should have been something for creators, in my opinion, in this time frame, aside from the party Saturday night. So much of VidCon is the community aspect, not just for creators and their fans, but for creators to creators. This is an isolating job, and this is a great place for us to safely meet our fans in a way, or viewers, whatever you choose to call your audience. But also, this is a great way to, you know, meet creators that are all over the country, in some instances all over the world, that we could never even get the chance to meet. In some instances, there are creators that also live in LA that because of just the way that LA is laid out and because of how busy we all are, we just don't get the chance to spend time together. And so places like VidCon are a great way to like reconnect, meet new people, share ideas, get creative energy flowing, you know, all that stuff. And so just having spaces where we can hang out and facilitate that at the very least would be good. When we got to the expo hall, both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's a back area for creators. I'm not familiar with how this works at Anaheim because I've only ever been back there one time when I walked with Purpose, and then I never was able to do it again. For VidCon Anaheim, this is also considered the Hyatt, okay? The Hyatt is where the featured creator hotel, and they block out pretty much that entire hotel for featured creators, in some instances invited guests and plus ones, full access and all of that. Occasionally speakers, but usually speakers are in another hotel. This time around, speakers were also in another hotel, which we will talk about in a second. The thing about the hotel is that they did not close off the hotel to other attendees. They didn't close off the hotel at all, which I understand. And someone's like, well, there's only like what, 30, 40, if that, feature creators. Of course we can't block out the hotel. I understand. But you also could have done what Playlist Live has done, which Playlist Live, I don't know if it's coming back or not, but it is not happening this year, where they have one section of the hotel that is specifically for creators and that is constantly blocked by security, and they are checking badges, they are checking the proper wristbands, they're making sure that no one that is not supposed to be back there is able to get back to those floors, and it's safe for creators. That was not the case here. I was told by someone from VidCon that apparently they had hired private security to, I don't know, guard the floors or something. That really wasn't made clear to me. But apparently the hotel had originally told them that they did not need a permit to operate inside the hotel. And then when the security guard got there, they were told that they needed the permit, but obviously they hadn't gotten it. So therefore that was scrapped. When you have us spread out on multiple floors, I don't know how one security guard is really going to help things. I don't know if they're going to put him by the door or by elevators. No idea. I don't know what the plan was there, frankly. The reason they have the Hyatt set up the way that it is so that creators have a safe place to go and hang out, and so that they're not wandering the expo hall floor, causing a chaos, causing mobbing. Mobbing is the main concern, it seems. In the old school days of VidCon, I would say yes, mobbing is a massive issue. And I'm not saying that it's not an issue now, but it's a different type of issue now, I think. For example, mobbing and all of that is why Tana Mojo got banned way back when. That led to TanaCon and all of that. It's why Logan Paul is banned, Jake Paul. Eric was banned for sneaking in, okay? But typically it's because of mobbing. They're creators that choose to ignore security guidelines or, you know, for whatever reason, get away from security or aren't featured creators for whatever reason walk through the expo hall floor and get mobbed and surrounded, and then becomes a fire hazard, and then it's a problem. I understand, especially in California with the fire marshal situation, all of that, you have to be incredibly careful, and for safety reasons you also have to be incredibly careful. But then to have employees routinely tell us, like, we would prefer that you didn't walk out onto the expo hall floor. We would prefer that you didn't. And frankly, though there was quite a few of you at Baltimore VidCon, which was great, most of the audience was children. And I was not worried for my personal safety. I was worried for Ranboo. I was worried for the odd ones out. I was worried for Minecraft and animation creators and things like that. I was worried for those creators. I was not worried personally for myself as far as mobbing goes. My safety concerns are not that I'm going to be mobbed. It's not that I'm going to be tackled by an overzealous fan who just doesn't understand social cues. No, I'm worried that some of you are crazy, and that if you know where I'm going, where my hotel is, you'll follow me to my room, and you might have a knife. That's what I'm worried about, okay? I'm worried that if you talk to any single female creator that was there, and I had someone straight up tell me, because I was talking about, like, it's like, I really don't like that the hotel isn't safe. Like, I don't feel safe hanging out there right now because it's during the convention, and they know that there's creators coming and going from there. He told me, it's like, yeah, but I don't think that's a problem anymore. Like, the days of mobbing, the stan mobs are gone. And I told him, I said, I want you to go to any single female creator in this room that you see right here. And we were in the upstairs floor, but there was like security guards around, but we were like on the main floor. It's like, I want you to go to any female creator in here. I want you to ask to see one of their DMs. Their DM requests. And I want you to tell me that that person is safe to go into an unsecured hotel where people know where they are. I want you to tell me that. Because like some of the other female creators, I'm not going to say their names, but I saw some of these DMs, horrific shit. People should be on lists, okay? I thought my stuff was bad. The fact that most of us have a creepy person folder, so people are telling me, it's like, oh yeah, no, I've given names to my family and friends so that if something happens to me, they know who to talk to. Like, that's horrific, okay? And that's what we're worried about more than anything. So I'm not worried about the speakers knowing where I'm sleeping. I'm worried about fans who may, at the very least, not know social cues and be filming and go and film my hotel room for whatever reason. And then some crazy person that's another fan then finds my hotel room. Okay, I'm worried about someone following me. Okay, the fact that 3 different cars were stolen during Baltimore VidCon, one creator, what have you. I only spoke to one person who knew, whose +1 was the person whose car got stolen, because she was like, yeah, he went to go report it to them to like find out like, hey, do you have a contact? Like, who am I supposed to call? And they were like, again? It happened again? Yes, it happened again. What the fuck is going on? They put the speakers at the Hilton. I believe they put the invited guests with them too, but I believe it was kind of one or the other, because there was a lot of +1s and full access and all of that at the Hyatt as well. So I think they should have put featured creators, +1s, invited guests, speakers, all in one hotel, one wing. See if you can get a deal. The hotel does not need to be right next to the convention center, because at Anaheim, it's not right next to the convention center. It's like on average a 12-minute drive, if even that. The hotel doesn't need to be right next there, because then people are like, oh, well, like, you're walking alone. I go alone places all the time. I really do. I travel. That's not my concern. I know how to take my personal precautions. You guys don't know where I'm staying when I travel. Here, you did know where I was staying. You could figure it out. You could see where other creators wearing the same type of badge I was were sleeping, and you could follow them there. And I'm not just saying this to be like, oh, they could have found us. They did find us. Fans were hanging around the Hyatt all the time. First thing in the morning, walking in. When I was going to the news station, they were walking in, okay? And that's just not okay. That's not safe. Whether you think it's an issue or not, or whether you think there's a safety concern or not, that's not okay. And creators shouldn't feel like they have to like sacrifice their safety, go and meet with fans, because so many people, that's why they do VidCon and all of that. It's like, yeah, sure, they want to be able to meet fans, but they want to be able to do it safely. This is safer for fans. This is safer for creators. And so the safety element should be imperative.
We are going to our panel right now.
Is this us? I hope so. Stop, smile, say hi, wave, yay. I did my panel, Cultivating Creativity. I was the only long form creator really with a panel of short form creators, which was very fun. We had a lot of fun. It was like we all have different processes and creativity and all of that, but the panel room was full. And what was cool is like at the end, a bunch of people came up and they were like, hey, I'm letting you know, like, I didn't know who you were before this, but like I really liked your points. That was great. And like talking about stuff, which was very sweet. And I was like hearing it. And one mother, I believe, she told me, she was like, thank you for saying and talking about like being yourself and like finding your own voice and your authenticity and all of that, because these days are being told what to be all the time. And I was like, you know what, that's very sweet. That was really nice. I had a lot of fun doing that panel, and then afterwards I just kind of was done for the day, so hung around with everyone, talked with a couple of people, got pitched another AI product again. After party time. We are going to the YouTube party.
I think it's all yellow badges, but I think it's originally the featured creator badges, but there's only like 20 featured creators-ish.
People loved the TikTok party at Anaheim. They did not all love the Instagram party at Anaheim, predominantly because the Instagram party was incredibly loud. There was really no down space for this place as well. They had speakers that were also blasting outside. So we were screaming at each other the entire time. And I was like, oh my God, I have a panel tomorrow. This is not good. So like, and that was quite, like my hearing was all messed up, which is like, that was, I don't know. I just think a quiet area, not even quiet, like quieter is, I think, important, because for the most part, a bunch of us have been all doing different things because we're all spread out because there's nothing to facilitate us all being in the same space. Really, this is like our first time to actually all be around together, and we can't talk to each other. We're screaming at each other over the music. So I passed out. Next morning, slept in a little bit more. Went over to the convention center, went and sat in on a couple different people's talks, which was great. Nothing really crazy happened that day aside from like my talk with me and Hassan. We had a creator to creator, and we had nothing planned, and that was kind of our goal, was to have nothing planned. Me and Hassan, we're very good at riffing. We're good at talking. We are friends. So it's good to kind of be able to just kind of go. And in true format, we made jokes about AI at the start, and then went on a rant for 10 minutes. And then I was like, oh my God, did we not introduce ourselves as we're in this room? We fully expected that room to be empty, by the way. So thank you to everyone that came to our creator to creator chat and listened to us ramble. We talked back and forth for a little bit, and then we just opened it up for questions for like the last 20 minutes, which I really like doing, because it's like, we know what we think the audience wants to know, but like that might not actually be what like those audience members want to know. So it was nice to be able to do questions and have full control over that. That was cool. Our meet and greet wasn't until 4, and I was like, me and Hassan, the entire time we kept joking that there was gonna be no one there because I promoted our meet and greet. Hassan didn't promote dick. Hassan promoted nothing.
We are going to our meet and greets now. I messed up. I really hope you guys come to the right time, because I definitely said 5 on stage.
Oh yeah, you did ruin this for us. Oh,
Yep.
bummer.
And then I was like, oh yeah, there's no one there, huh? And they were like, oh no, you have 42 people signed up. I was like, excuse me? Was it the creativity panel, or was it the one-on-one? Someone had asked about discouraging of audiences or things like that. Hassan was talking about like speaking with other creators that are way bigger than him and considering himself on the same level as them now in this space and all of that. And I was like, yeah, well, social media gives us face blindness. Like 54 people liking your photo doesn't sound like a lot, but like 54 people in this room telling you they like that they like your outfit is overwhelming. And then I heard 41 people signed up, and I was like,
All right, now I'm freaking out. I'm
not.
I'm speaking. I can do that. What is this?
You're not shaking hands and saying hi to people?
It'll be fun.
You'll be okay. You'll do just fine.
you guys were all very great. And it kind of worked out really well because Hassan was like, they're all going to be here for you. But like, actually there was a good variety, I would say, of people that were like here for me, here for Hassan. So we were kind of like shuffling back and forth for photos and things like that. And a few people got photos with both of us, which was very sweet. So it was good though. I was like, apologizing to the photographer. I was like, sorry for the shuffling. She was like, oh no, this is good. You guys got it sorted. So it's fine. So it worked out. But our pretty much everyone's meet and greets would end early because there just was not a ton of attendance, especially on Sunday. And a few of you that were local to Baltimore were like, thank you for putting in your video that you were going to be here, because if you hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have known, because there was no local advertising. Someone goes to school not far from the convention center, and they had no idea about Baltimore VidCon. That is a problem. Once I was in Dallas after VidCon, I did an interview with Forbes and I brought this up, and they did tell me that that was actually factually incorrect, and that they had in fact apparently partnered Baltimore's tourism board and all this stuff, and that there was different places of advertisement and all of that. If the advertising existed, great. However, it depends where it is, especially for your target demographic. So I think where it is incredibly important. The fact that people that were there had to find out from the creators that were going, I think that might be a problem. So I would very much like to know where this local advertising was. Like, it always boils down to advertising. It just does every single time. Oh yeah, I did have someone ask me, it's like, okay, in your opinion, who's doing the best events right now? And I got to say the furries. The furries are killing it right now. Someone else told me that they have never seen the convention center that empty. The expo hall was mostly a nothing burger. What I liked about this expo hall compared to Anaheim is that it really highlighted creator booths. Now, for those who don't know, when you're a featured creator, they offer you typically a 10 by 10 booth. The rule is that you have to sell something in that booth. It doesn't have to be a lot, but there always has to be someone in that booth. And I had been told that creators are offered that and a lot of people accept that. And I said, that's because I think it's a lot of work and I think it sounds very daunting when you make it so that they have to sell something. Luckily, a lot of the creators that had booths for their merch and things like that, most of them sold out, which is great. That's fantastic. But that's not emphasized really well, I don't think, in Anaheim. And so that's where I think you could use that creator section and transition that as a sort of artist alley in a separate highlighted spot versus kind of sprinkling in throughout the expo hall for VidCon Anaheim. Because I asked about like, why don't we do like a artist alley for VidCon, because I think that would be very well, and artist alleys do really well at a lot of events, and also there's more to do and look at and see versus just the smaller expo hall. Okay, like an expo hall in Anaheim was so small, it was small for Anaheim standards. This was microscopic. I walked through the expo hall like once this time and I was like, I've seen it all. There was Camp VidCon, which was a sit down spot, and like as they were setting up I was like, oh, I wonder what's in the tent. I wonder whose setup is in the tent. I'm thinking it's like a creator's little thing. No, it's just a spot to sit down called Camp VidCon. There was a blow up corn maze. We went through it. Hassan's like, why is the exit the same as the entrance? I was like, because it's a blow up corn maze. They didn't grow this from the ground. You know, it's a blow up corn maze, and they were just doing that to fill gaps. I gave a lot of flack for Anaheim VidCon about how they had multiple plushie booths, stuffed animal booths. And I was like, who is your target demographic? Children? And then you have this. And it's like, okay, clearly, yes, the target demographic is children. And it's fine. I don't want to erase adult fans, average age, teenage fans, young adult fans even, because like so many it's the amount of creators that was like, oh yeah, no, my demographic is like my same age group. I'm expecting no one to be here for me because it was all children. You guys did the box again. The box is an interesting idea. I need you guys to tweak the box though. So the box is a countdown that VidCon does, and there's a creator inside the box. The mistake they make is that they put the creator that's inside the box on the featured creators list. No. People waited 3 hours because they thought Dream was in the box. It wasn't. It was Sean. Sean's great. That's cool. But that's one, not fair to Sean, and not fair to those, they assumed it was Dream. But still, you know, someone came up to me and they said, if it's James Charles, I'm leaving. And I said, he's not here. There's a joke there. I made the joke the other day. I'm not going to say it. The box thing, if you're going to keep doing that, it needs to not be an announced featured creator because everyone assumes it's a surprise for a reason. It shouldn't be someone who's on the list, okay? It should be someone else who's not listed as a featured creator, and then it's a surprise. So the way that I get into the Hyatt for Anaheim, in 2022, I got invited by Amazon Live. Why? I still don't fully know. I don't think they knew, but someone was like, here's a list, and I think I was just on that list, okay? I have friends who have been sent to VidCon in general, or like sponsored for VidCon or what have you by Instagram or other companies that are at the Hyatt. My friend was like, oh, you're going to be at Baltimore. Like, I'll come with you. I'll see who else is on there. Like, let me check with my contacts. Reached out to Instagram, and her contacts at Instagram who had previously been at Anaheim VidCon. I should make that clear. She said, we found out about Baltimore VidCon 2 weeks ago. We're not going to be there. I'm sorry, what? What do you mean you found out 2 weeks ago? And someone told me, it's like, yeah, well, they can't plan this any earlier because the focus has to be on Anaheim. And I was like, yeah, but don't do this then. You know, like this isn't working. This is nothing. Hassan's contact also was like, hey, I'm sorry. There was a Threads dinner. I would have put you through it, but like I just found out about it after it had already happened. Like things are happening and there's no cohesion. It's all over the place. It's a mess. And this could be fixed with a little more sponsor involvement, you know, because like when your major sponsors don't know you're having an event in another city, hey, you can be a part of the first Baltimore VidCon. You can put your roots down as a company, not that they don't have roots, but you get my point, in Baltimore, and you can establish yourself as synonymous with Baltimore VidCon. You can become synonymous with East Coast VidCon. The fact that that's not happening is insane to me. Okay, the fact that that doesn't even seem to we got PBS. No offense to PBS, but why? Cool. Thanks for they had little shark stuffed animals. Great. Cool. Wonderful. I think that's a chance to work with local businesses. Hey guys, we partnered with this cool cheesecake factory. Something, I don't know, that's across the street. Here are vouchers for discounted meals. Just post them on Instagram. Something. Altogether, comparatively, compared to Anaheim, it's funny, and I get it. It's a first year event, but this shit should be plug and play at this point, okay? And I said that about Anaheim as well because there was a lot of issues with Anaheim, and I still think that if Cannes Lions is going to continue to be an issue, you guys got to change the dates. That's clearly just got to be it. I'm hearing from a lot of creators that go to Cannes Lions, they're leaving with multiple contacts for sponsorships, in some instances, a bunch of sponsorships. So the priorities are going to start changing, especially for more established business-minded creators. It's just going to happen.
So the meet and greet is done. Apparently there was 42 people signed up for me and Hassan's meet and greet. And then we had some extra time. So like a bunch of creators and I and Hassan, we all got like together and did a bunch of photos and stuff, which was very fun. So here's the meet and greet area. This was our backdrop. And here's everything's wrapping up, so everything's empty now. It was a good turnout.
Then it was just kind of done. The event was done. I had fun. And I know that it doesn't seem like this from this. My frustration comes from like the fact that I know they can do better. And I know that there are ways to do better. So many creators that would love to help you guys throw events, local creators that you guys could have reached out to. Oh, this is what also. Okay. I talked about this with the VidCon meeting that I told you about. But I really think they need to kind of overhaul hiring a bit. And I get it. Hiring is hard right now. There's not a lot of money. Okay. But at the very least, there needs to be one person whose whole job it is to reach out to creators, speakers, invited guests, whoever's doing a panel, and to either email them or call them before the event that says, hey, here is your panel, here is your thing, here's what they entail. Do you need anything from us? Is there anything you need from this? You need a microphone, you need a certain type of microphone, you need a ramp because you're in a wheelchair and you need to get on stage, you need sign language interpreters, oh, you're doing a drawing panel, you need certain type of markers so you can be seen from the audience. And then their whole job is to just categorize that shit, okay? That's a lot, yes, but someone needs to do it. And I, thankfully, for my creativity panel, we had a really great moderator, Eddie. He's going to be mentioned in my little rundown for it because he was a fantastic moderator. He sent us questions beforehand and then we met up beforehand and he was like, okay, I'm going to scrap these questions. We're going to do this again, but it's going to be great. And he was so charismatic. The people at the end were coming up and they were like, is he doing other panels? He's great. Because I've seen horrible moderators at VidCon. Okay, not saying this time, but like in general, I've seen some bad moderators. And so good moderators need to be fostered and maintained. But like, I think putting that all on moderators is one, overestimating a lot of your moderators because a lot of moderators had no idea what the heck they're doing. Apparently someone's panel got canceled like the day before, not even the day before, the day of, for the industry panel because they just thought they were talking about something. They didn't realize they had to do like a full big presentation. There's a miscommunication and expecting people to understand for things. And I think that that's not fair. And that's where a lot of the frustration comes in because creators want to do a good job. They want to do a good job, not for themselves, for their fans, the fans that come out to come and see them. They want to give them a good show. That's why we do what we do. We like being entertaining. There's some narcissism in some. There is narcissism in there, okay? But, you know, that's kind of what we all do, okay? So if you make it so that it's easier for us to do our jobs while being a part of VidCon, you would get incredible results. And I get it. It's a small team. I think I met all of you, the entire VidCon team this weekend, which is great. You guys were all lovely, but I think there's work to be done and we can make this really great, especially if you want this to be the East Coast event. I agree. There needs to be an East Coast VidCon, especially with the cost of ticket for flights and things like that. It makes sense to have an East Coast location. You want creators to be excited about VidCon. This is something you get to do, not something you have to do. Do you think that all of the featured creators that you had, that when their friends ask them, oh, how was that? Do you think they will honestly say, I would love to be a featured creator at Baltimore again? VidCon Baltimore again. I don't know. I really don't know. And I had some people who told me it's like, no, I would not come back. I don't know if I would do this again just because it was exhausting and it was like not the fun stuff on top of that. That makes it not just rewarding, but also like fun. I had fun, but it was fun that I made for myself with other creators more than anything. It was fun for me to meet viewers. That was great. But also I do that not being a featured creator. Leaving to the Baltimore airport, I got stopped 3 times in 15 minutes. Only one of them knew I had been there for Baltimore VidCon, and it was because she had worked the event. The other 2 were just like, oh my God, what's in Baltimore? Like, why are you here? Like that's crazy to me. Also, when there's less to do, there's got to be less ticket prices. There was very little for fans to do, really. And so the fact that ticket prices, I think, should have been lower, frankly. Industry, I think, was a mistake. I think you should have had creator tier, creator track. I'll be sending a full email before this video goes live with a lot of my notes. They're apparently sending us out a forum to, one of them corrected themselves. It's like, yes, you guys will be getting like a questionnaire where you can put your criticisms, your constructive criticism. And Hassan just looked at me. It's like, oh, she'll write an essay. It'll be fine. I would like to see Baltimore VidCon grow. I would like to see it do better. Hopefully you guys made money on this to some degree and that it happens again next year. We shall see. That's really going to be it. Thank you for everyone that came out. Thank you for everyone that bought a ticket and came to our meet and greet. It was great meeting you all. I hope you guys all like your photos and that I came across the same way I do in videos. Because I do worry about that because I feel like it's the same. And then in person, I never really know how I come across just to everyone. So I'm getting some of the photos back one by one. So I hope I get more photos back so I can start posting some of those. And then obviously this video. But thank you all so much for coming out. And thank you to VidCon for having me, even though you're going to ban me after this, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be it. Did you hear about Baltimore VidCon? Did you not hear about Baltimore VidCon? Did you hear about Baltimore VidCon from me? Did you hear it from someone else? Are you local to the Baltimore area? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Shenanigans podcast. Reminder, I am now streaming on Twitch. At the time of this coming out, I should have already started with my first stream. You should check it out. Twitch.com/Swell Entertainment. Reminder, I have merch. There will probably be a merch design for this. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. If you also support my Patreon, leave us down below. Let's find me on social media. Y'all up here. That's me. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. I just know